Today I'm speaking to Kenneth McDonach from IT Resolution Limited in UK, and I'm interested in his experience with Advisera's Conformio software. And before we start speaking about Conformio, can you please explain your role in the company and what your company does?
We're an MSP, managed service provider. I'm now classed as the security director within the company. And that takes up a lot of my time because we do it not just for ourselves, but we also do it for some other clients as well. Our idea was that as time was going by, the security sector was becoming more and more prevalent with our clients. So what we wanted to be able to do was to help them with that, whether that be Cyber Essentials, ISO 27001. But in order to do that and have any real credibility in the market, we felt we had to have both of those as well. So we've now got Cyber Essentials, we've got ISO 27001, and in some part of the market that makes us unique. We are a small company. We are not trying to be a big company, and we have a very personal touch between our staff and our clients. And we tend to have very, very long relationships with our clients.
So what is it that you make that makes your company special? Is this a special relationship with your clients, or is there also something else that you do for your clients?
We have never really marketed. We've only ever taken business through word of mouth. So we rely on our work being very good and our clients being comfortable that they can recommend ourselves to the people that they know who may be in a similar situation. There's many, many managed service providers, but we don't offer anything I think that's ideally unique except our own personability, where we are seen a lot, we communicate with our clients, we're involved with our clients, we're on a number of their security boards or their implementation boards for what they want done, and we work very closely with our clients. And I think the fact that a number of our clients have been with us 15, 20 years says a lot about the services that we deliver.
So let's speak a little bit about ISO 27001. So what kind of challenges did you actually have when you started considering the implementation and ultimately certification? So what were you, let's say, afraid of the most, or what were the biggest, let's say, roadblocks?
I was a little bit more fortunate because I had some experience with other ISOs, 14001 specifically, which I studied quite extensively. And have implemented in several companies in a previous life. So when we looked at ISO 27001, I was familiar with the language, but you see that just the same as any other standard, there are cruxes in the system that you have to deal with. And when you look at things like risk register and all the language that we're using, and there's not really any part of ISO 27000 doesn't really apply to you. There's maybe the odd little bit here or there. So you're looking at this new standard, you're looking at all the things you've got to comply with, all the things you may not be familiar with, and you're thinking, well, do I really want to go down the road of having template documents and spreadsheets? And I went, no, this is not the way to deal with this standard, really. So the main thing, like any other standard for environment, it's your significant environmental aspects. For here, it's your risk register. Everything works around your risk register. So you really have to be able to look at that in a logical manner. And when you read it, it's really so wide. You're thinking, where do you start with this? So that's when I thought there must be a system out there that helps people do this. And it was at that point I came across Conformio.
So how did the Conformio then help you with these challenges?
But you look at if you look at the standard and try and read it, you'll go, oh my goodness, what are we getting into here? So when I looked at Conformio and I started to look at it more closely, what I really liked about it was the implementation steps. It's very clear. You do this, and then you do this, and then you do this. And that suited me personally. And I'd also had some experience of other companies because we'd already started helping other companies with ISO 27000 when we were using different systems. And I'm like, don't know that system would suit us because we're very small. So that has its own challenges when it comes to ISO 27001. But the implementation steps within Conformio are very structured, and they really help you work your way through the quagmire of things you need to do. So you've got built-in wizards, which are great and save you a lot of time. And you're still in this implementation steps. You just follow them one at a time. It moves you through the process. The risk register itself, the whole module, one of the most essential elements, is very good. It's still quite daunting, but it's very good at what it does. And for me personally, when we were looking at implementing this, and we done this in the space, we implemented it using Conformio within about 5.5 months from beginning to end. Once we decided we were doing it that way, that's how long it took. And one of the best functions for me personally was the audit and evidence module. Fantastic module, because it really, having done ISOs before, ISOs are all about say what you do what you say, and record the fact that you've done it. And that creates your evidence. And the audit and evidence module helps you do exactly that. By going through all the implementation steps, you've created all these plans, procedures, policies, and that then gives you the chance to prove and show what you've done and what you have in place to comply with all these. We decided quite early on we were going to keep all of our documentation inside Conformio, which, when you link it to the audit and evidence, makes it a lot easier. So we found it very useful. And then, even when we had went through all the pain of doing the certification and doing it rather quickly, we found there was this lovely maintenance module that helped us keep it going as well, and keeps you up to date and keeps nudging you whenever you need to do something. So I wouldn't say, it's the way it integrates with its modules and guides you very clearly what you need to do. There are still, as I said, some daunting steps that you need to go through, but it's there to help you do that, and it does it very well.
Okay. And what do you think we could do better? What should we improve?
Well, because we used it extensively from beginning to end, I think we went round the houses quite a few times. We revisited the risk register a few times to say, did we actually consider that the right way? And that's another good thing. I know I'm supposed to be talking about what we could do better, but a good thing about the risk register, you can enter back into it and make adjustments, come out the other end, and if you needed a new procedure or a new wizard, the wizard will appear, okay? And you then complete them. So, having been through it and used the wizards, and you can do a certain amount of editing in the wizard created documents, and for us, some of it didn't quite fit perfectly, and we had to add an overriding paragraph in. But I understand you're already working on that, so this all edited.
Yes. We'll be launching in a matter of weeks this online editor, which will actually overcome this issue, and users will be able to edit documents fully.
That's
so yes,
excellent. That's an excellent
I'm
addition.
aware of this.
Yeah. One of the other things I would say that we came across was we had some documents that we needed, and I'm sure everybody will need to do this, upload their own documents, their own records, something they've made in Word or something they've made in Excel, and you turn them into PDFs and you upload them into Conformio. It doesn't fully integrate them into the document control system. So I think that would be a massive improvement, because one of the problems is that Conformio always says it's in version 1 when really we're on version 3, and there's no way of telling Conformio it's really version 3, because each time you upload a document, it automatically tries to do version 1. That's it. Irrespective if you're uploading version 3. So integrating it in fully, any template documents that we bring up or documents that a user adds in gets fully implemented within the document control and then can be edited and adjusted within that. Don't know how easy that would be, but that would be first class if that could be done.
Okay. Okay, great. I'm really thankful for all of these insights. And can you tell me, I mean, now in the hindsight of the implementation of the standards, what are you able to do now as a company with Conformio or with Advisera that you were not able to do before?
Well, one of the things that we can do, it opens up a door of opportunity for us. That because we have ISO 27001 ourselves and have achieved it and been through it, we can now more effectively advise our clients. So for us, it's a great thing. It's to do with credibility in the market, if you want to be in that market as an IT company. Because if you're working with Cyber Essentials or ISO 27001, there's an awful lot that's going to rely on the IT department or your IT consultants or your third-party IT supplier or partner. And that allows us to play another role within all our clients. And some of them, obviously, over the years have asked about Cyber Essentials. And now Cyber Essentials is moving on. And they're now beginning to ask more and more about ISO 27001. And to be honest, for any size of company, I've seen a few systems because I've worked with several companies. I would not hesitate to recommend Conformio, really. Because of the way that it integrates its modules with these implementation steps. So that's what I would say, and that's what I want to do if we can moving forward.
Great. This is really a great feedback, and thank you for this, Kenneth.
Yeah, no problem. It's a pleasure.